My beloved child, stop everything for a moment. Still your mind, silence the noise around you, and let your heart listen. This is not a coincidence. You did not arrive here by accident. Heaven itself has drawn you to this very word, in this very moment, because God is speaking directly to you. You may have been searching for answers, crying in secret, carrying battles that no one else understands. You may feel forgotten, overlooked, or even abandoned. But hear me with all your soul. God has seen every tear. He has heard every whisper of your heart. And now He says, this word is for you right now. Beloved, this is not just another message. This is heaven's breath upon your life. It is personal, it is divine, and it comes with urgency. The Lord is reaching out to remind you of who you are, chosen, called, and deeply loved. Do not harden your heart. Do not let this moment pass. Open your spirit, for the God of eternity has bent low to speak your name in this very hour. Beloved, hear me with all the tenderness of heaven. You are not forgotten. Even though the enemy has whispered lies into your heart, even though the weight of silence has made you feel invisible, the truth of eternity declares that your name is known and cherished by the Almighty God. Every tear you have shed has not fallen unnoticed. Every cry that escaped your lips in the stillness of the night has reached the throne room of heaven. You may think that no one sees, that no one hears, that no one cares, but beloved, the eyes of your Father have never left you for a single moment. There are seasons in life where you walk through valleys so deep that even your own heart questions if you will ever rise again. There are times when prayers feel unanswered, when the heavens seem closed, when silence becomes heavier than the storm itself. Yet in that silence, heaven is working. In that stillness, the hand of God is writing chapters you cannot yet see. Just because you cannot feel Him does not mean He is absent. Just because you do not hear Him does not mean He is not speaking. He has promised, I will never leave you nor forsake you. And that promise has not been broken, not once. Child of God, think of the sparrow. The world overlooks it, the world forgets it, but not your Father in heaven. Not a single sparrow falls without His knowledge, and the Scriptures say you are worth far more than many sparrows. If heaven counts even the birds of the air, how much more does it count every step you take, every breath you draw, every battle you face? You are not forgotten because you are far too precious to ever be ignored. The very hairs on your head are numbered. He knows when you rise. He knows when you lie down. He knows the path you take even before you walk it. Do you remember Hagar, wandering in the wilderness, abandoned and alone, certain that death was near? She lifted her voice in despair, but God answered and revealed Himself as El Roi, the God who sees me. That same God sees you. Even when you feel like Hagar, cast aside, forgotten by people, forsaken by the world, He calls out to you and says, I see you, I know you, I have not forgotten you. His eyes are on you not just when you succeed, but even in your lowest moments, even when you think you have failed beyond repair. Beloved, the enemy wants you to believe that God has moved on, that heaven has turned its back, that your prayers are in vain. But the opposite is true. If you are breathing, it means the story is still unfolding. If your heart is still beating, it means heaven still has work for you to do. You are engraved on the palm of His hands. How can He forget you when your very name is written where He can never look away? You are not forgotten in the struggle. You are not forgotten in the pain. You are not forgotten when doors close, when friends walk away, when nights grow long. You are not forgotten in your wilderness, in your storm, in your fire. In fact, those very places where you feel unseen are the places where God draws closest. He is near to the broken-hearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. He does not despise your weakness. He does not overlook your tears. He gathers them, treasures them, and turns them into testimonies of His faithfulness. Beloved child of God, lift your eyes again. Do not measure God's love by your circumstances. Do not measure His faithfulness by the silence of the moment. His love is eternal, His presence is constant, His promises are unshakable. Even when people forget you, heaven remembers. Even when the world overlooks you, God celebrates you. Even when you forget yourself, He whispers, "You are mine, chosen, loved, and never forgotten." Beloved child of God, this very moment is not random. You did not stumble upon this message by mistake. This word has been appointed for you from before the foundation of the world. Heaven has orchestrated this very encounter, because there is something God needs you to hear now, not tomorrow, not later, but now. Too many times we push things aside, telling ourselves we will pray tomorrow, we will change later, we will surrender eventually. But the Spirit of God comes with urgency to say, "Stop everything, listen, this word is for you in this very moment." Do you realize how precise God's timing is? Nothing in your life has ever been a coincidence. Every step, every turn, every season has been allowed by His hand. Even the things that broke you, even the storms that crushed you, even the nights that drowned you in tears, all of it was seen by Him. He is the author of time itself, and He makes no mistakes. That is why this message reaches you now, in this exact hour. God knows the battles you've been facing, the questions you've been carrying, the discouragements that have weighed heavy on your heart, and He is speaking into them with a living word of truth. So many voices surround you daily, voices of fear, voices of doubt, voices of distraction. The enemy fills your mind with lies to convince you that God has gone silent. But beloved, silence does not mean absence. Delay does not mean denial. Right now, God is cutting through the noise of this world to remind you that His voice still speaks, His hand still moves, and His promises are still alive. The timing of this word is proof that heaven has not overlooked you. Think of Esther. She did not rise to her position by coincidence. She was placed in the palace for such a time as this. Her story shows us that God's timing is perfect, even when we do not understand it. And now, beloved, God is saying to you, this is your time, this is your word, this is your moment. The season of waiting has carried you to this very place where His voice is breaking through the heaviness. There are moments in life when a single word changes everything, when a broken heart is healed, when a weary soul finds strength, when a lost child finds direction again. That is what God desires to do for you right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when life feels easier, but in this exact moment when you are listening. The urgency of heaven is upon you. God is not calling you tomorrow. He is calling you now. He is not healing you in the next season. He is beginning the work in you today. Beloved, do not dismiss this moment. How many times has God spoken and you delayed? How many times has He stirred your spirit and you said, maybe later? But there comes a time when heaven speaks with such urgency that delay becomes dangerous. This is that time. That is why the Lord is pressing on your heart to stop everything and listen. Because this word is not general, it is personal. It is not just a message, it is a divine appointment with your soul. Do not harden your heart. Do not let distraction steal what heaven is depositing in you right now. This is the time of decision, the time of surrender, the time of awakening. You are not just hearing words, you are encountering the living God who knows your name, who sees your pain, and who has prepared this very word for you. He is saying, "Beloved child, I am speaking to you. Do not ignore my voice. This is for you, right now. Beloved, do not be deceived by the weight of your struggles. The pain you have endured, the storms you have faced, the battles that have shaken you to your core, these are not signs that you are forgotten, nor are they evidence that you are weak. They are proof that you are chosen. They are evidence that you carry something precious within you that the enemy fears. If your life were meaningless, if your calling were insignificant, the forces of darkness would have no reason to fight you. But the fact that you have endured so much is the clearest sign that heaven has marked you, and that your destiny threatens the very kingdom of darkness. Beloved, the enemy does not waste his weapons. He does not spend his time pursuing those who pose no threat. He pursues the ones carrying a divine assignment. He attacks the ones with an anointing upon their lives. He tries to crush the ones who have been set apart for greater things. And that is why your life has been filled with so many battles, because you are chosen. The fire you have walked through was not meant to destroy you. It was meant to reveal you. The storm you have endured was not to sink you. It was to awaken the faith that cannot be shaken. Think of Joseph. From the moment God placed a dream in his heart, the enemy unleashed opposition. His own brothers sold him, strangers enslaved him, lies were spoken against him, prison became his portion. But none of it was wasted. Every hardship was shaping him for the throne God had prepared. Every betrayal was moving him closer to the fulfillment of his calling. And in the end, Joseph could declare, what the enemy meant for evil, God turned for good. Beloved, your story is no different. The struggles that have scarred you are the very tools God is using to shape you for destiny. The enemy wants to convince you that your pain disqualifies you. He whispers that you are broken, unworthy, finished. But heaven declares the opposite. Your struggle is the proof of your calling. The greater the battle, the greater the purpose behind it. A soldier is not trained with ease, but through hardship. A vessel of honor is not formed without fire. A diamond does not shine without pressure. And so your struggles are not random. They are the evidence of the treasure you carry inside. Beloved child of God, understand this. The attacks against your life are not signs of abandonment. They are signs of value. If you were worthless, the enemy would leave you in peace. If your destiny were small, he would not waste his schemes on you. But because your life carries weight in heaven's plan, hell trembles at the thought of you stepping into your true identity. That is why he has tried to silence your voice, to break your faith, to bury your hope. But what he does not realize is that every attack has only pushed you closer to the arms of God. Look at your scars differently now. They are not marks of defeat, they are medals of survival. They are proof that no matter what the enemy threw at you, you are still standing. You may be bruised, but you are not broken. You may be weary, but you are not finished. And if you are still breathing, it means God's purpose in you is still alive. Your calling remains, your destiny is intact, and your life is still carrying the weight of heaven's design. Beloved, lift your eyes in hope. Do not measure your worth by the intensity of the storm. Instead, measure the storm by the greatness of your calling. The very fact that you are still here after all you've endured proves that God's hand is upon you. You are not just surviving. You are being refined, strengthened, and prepared. The struggles that once made you question your worth are the very evidence that you were chosen for something greater. Beloved child of God, this is your moment to rise. For too long, fear has tried to bind you, doubt has tried to paralyze you, and the voices of this world have tried to drown out the voice of heaven. But now the Spirit of the Lord is calling you to step out of the shadows, to lift your head, and to walk boldly in the path He has already prepared for you. The time for hesitation has passed. The season of silence is over. This is the hour to rise in faith and obedience, for God has spoken, and when God speaks, the only response is to follow. You cannot allow fear to dictate your steps any longer. Fear has whispered that you are not ready, that you are not strong enough, that you are not worthy. But fear is a liar. Faith declares that God equips the called, that His strength is made perfect in your weakness, and that His Spirit within you is greater than anything against you. Beloved, obedience does not wait for perfect conditions. Obedience moves in trust, believing that if God has called, then He will provide, He will sustain, He will guide. Think of Abraham. He was called to leave everything familiar, to walk into a land he had never seen. He did not have the details, he did not have a map, but he had the voice of God, and that was enough. So he rose in obedience, and through that obedience, a covenant was established that still blesses generations today. Beloved, the same God who called Abraham is calling you. He does not require that you understand every step, only that you trust the one who leads. Faith is not about knowing the outcome, it is about knowing the one who holds the outcome. Too often we wait for clarity before we move, but God is saying, "Take the step, and I will reveal the way." The Red Sea did not part until Moses lifted his staff. The walls of Jericho did not fall until the people marched in obedience. Miracles follow faith, and faith is proven through obedience. Beloved, do not wait for the sea to part before you step. Do not wait for the walls to crack before you march. Rise in obedience now, and you will see the hand of God move in ways beyond your imagination. You may ask, "But what if I fail?" Beloved, failure is not in obedience, failure is in disobedience. When Peter stepped out of the boat, he walked on water. Yes, he began to sink when his eyes wavered, but even then, Jesus reached out and lifted him. The lesson was not in the sinking, but in the courage to step out. The other disciples stayed in the boat, but Peter experienced the power of walking where no man had walked before. Beloved, your calling is not in the safety of the boat. It is in the waters of faith where Christ calls you to come. This is your time. Heaven is waiting for your yes. The world may tell you to delay, the enemy may try to intimidate you, your own heart may whisper hesitation, but the Spirit of God is urging you now. Rise and walk in faith. For the path has already been prepared. Your steps are ordered, your future is secure, and your life is held in the hands of the Almighty. Beloved, obedience is not about perfection. It is about surrender. You may not feel ready, but readiness comes when you trust. You may not feel strong, but strength comes when you step. You may not see the way, but the way appears when you walk. This is the beauty of faith. It is not about your ability, but about His faithfulness. And He who has called you is faithful, and He will not fail you. Rise, child of God, rise from fear, rise from doubt, rise from hesitation, rise from the weight of the past. This is your hour, this is your calling. Walk in the obedience of faith, and you will see the promises of God unfold before your very eyes. Beloved, you are not forgotten. This word is for you now. Your struggles prove your calling, and the time has come to rise in faith and obedience. Walk boldly, for God goes before you.